also, you know, sitting kind of with this energy of, you know, of moon time, and the energy of moon time as we, you know, pass into the cycle of the new moon. It's a potent time, you know, as we work through everything that's either come up for us in the past moon cycle, and work with, you know, things that are rising within us, things that are rising around us. Because the moon in this particular cycle, day one of the new cycle of the moon, it helps us to, you know, fuel further, you know, expression and expansion. And whilst the moon is not expanded yet because she's compressed, she's in her dark mode, now is a time to really reflect and check in, because the moon reminds us of the power of intention. The moon reminds us of the power of intention. So it's no use just kind of thinking about the moon as just the full moon is when I need to do my manifestation work. Well, my loves, if we're not cycling concurrently with the energetic motion of each quarter of the moon, for example, particularly establishing some relationship with intention setting, then we're actually not manifesting you know, ourselves in our full capacity when the most illumination, you know, kind of presents forward, which is around the full moon time. So where we have been given the greatest opportunity and the greatest power is actually now. So if we've done the work, release work, just before, you know, the dark moon changes and into this new moon cycle, it's an opportunity for us to maximize that capacity and ride the waves of, you know, the emotion, as we do as women, as we cycle. And it's also a time for us to listen to that intuition, tune into the daydreaming. What are we dreaming about during the day? What are we dreaming about in, you know, in our space time when we close our eyes? Listening to the soul as it swims, you know, beneath and within all of us. So elevating our visions, you know, dreaming big, and, you know, setting some intentions and opportunities around what those dreams are. And so the other thing as well about, you know, cycling as we do and setting intentions and release around the cycle of the moon is that if we actually don't do the deep work in terms of the release work, particularly the shedding, the sitting with discomfort, the shadow work, then the manifestation work is going to be futile. So the Sandara e-learning module, particularly module 2, which is supporting women to cycle and understand nature's rhythms and how we can be more aligned energetically, physically, emotionally with the lunar cycle, also with the seasons and elements, but particularly talking about the lunar cycle, means that doing release work on the full moon is actually in complete dichotomy or opposition with what the intention of the full moon is actually about, which is making sure that we're expressing all of and planting our seeds of wisdom throughout the first quarters of the moon to ensure that she receives the maximum ability to blossom. Because the energy of the full moon is actually about ovulation and is actually about the fertility, the abundance, and the growth. Whereas the energy of the new moon is actually about, we've just gone through the decay and release. What is it that I kind of want to put in place so the full moon can actually see my greatest power and my greatest light? So if you're interested, my loves, that module might be something that you might be interested in looking at, and it's immediate access. So, you know, for $89, you're able to access that module at the click of a couple of buttons. So if you're interested in, you know, any of the awakening modules, certainly if you're not too sure, you can book a call with me, absolutely, or drop me a private message. I love to get messages of support and messages so I know how you are and that my messages are, you know, connecting with you for whatever reason it is, or perhaps not, but if not, that's okay, because I'm not for everyone. So what I wanted to do, my loves, was also share with you from my book of shadows and my diary, which isn't she gorgeous? My lovely journal. is that if you've, in terms of the practice of establishing some intentions, really all it does mean is setting some space, setting some quiet time, perhaps just even, you know, grabbing a candle or things that kind of, you know, make you feel like you're actually crafting, you know, great opportunities to anchor in for yourself. It doesn't have to be too complicated. And sitting with the heart space, sitting with dropping into the womb particularly, because that's where most of our creative ideas come from. Perhaps putting on some music and then thinking about, well, where have I given my power outside of myself away? And what do I need to feel pleasure and joy? What do I need to create to feel pleasure and joy? And start with some of those conversations, start with some of those questions and see what rises for yourself. So that doesn't have to be in the context of business. It can obviously be in the context of relationships. It can be in the context of your capacity to bring in, you know, opportunities for personal growth, or to understand where perhaps money blocks might be coming from, or if there's a mindset around scarcity, or you know, if there's some fear rising around communication, if there's conflict, you know, so understand where you might be actually giving away some of your sovereignty, and you know, start to think about reclaiming, you know, some of the things that are really important for you to make you feel that you're in alignment, that you feel joy, and that, you know, pleasure is something that is ultimately ours, isn't it? So reclaim that and ask those questions and see what presents. So asking those questions helps. Journaling those, so writing those down. And also throughout the cycle between today and when the full moon is in abundance, and even just beforehand, making sure that you're sitting with those intentions and you're sharing the light of day. So talking about those intentions, manifesting that from the heart. And your release work throughout the cycle of the moon should be around, well, what do I need to release that's no longer serving these intentions, right? And that's how we can work with the different energies. So once you've set that intention, I like to seal it with a new moon prayer. So I just want to offer you my new moon prayer, and it might be something that you may want to take forward into your practice. So, the Lady of the Moon, of the restless sea and the living earth, the Lord of the sun and wild places and the creatures that lay within, accept this offering, this new moon offering, as I place it here from my heart in your honour, and grant me the wisdom to see your presence in all that is in nature, and that I will be in union with all of the ancient ones, the ancestry, and the energy of this beautiful new moon. So I am renewed in this energy of the new moon, and I am replenished and open to new beginnings and the wisdom that rises within. I am refreshed and immersed in rebirth, and I open myself up to, and this is where you can insert some of your keywords or your intentions, and I'm opening myself up to abundance, to flow, to prosperity, to sensuality, to create ease in my business and growth. And I'm also asking the great sages and my grandmothers, the sages and the crones and the ancestors and the guides to bless and honour me and support me, so that I can fulfill the call and the asking, and in doing so they're hearing my support for my beautiful heartfelt intentions. So my loves, that's what I wanted to drop into to share with you. A little bit about the Sandara online community, a little bit about how we can manifest and work with the moon, and offering you my beautiful, heartfelt new moon blessings and my own personal intentions. So my dears, as we close this impromptu drop-in, let's just join hands. Thank you so much for holding space with me when you watch the replay, or if you're watching live, I can't quite see. Hands into the heart space, bowing head in gratitude. Breathing deeply together. The inhale is for those intentions, the exhale is release. Inhale for those intentions, exhale, release. Thank you for being my witness, beautiful sisters. And I'm holding space for you as well. So have a beautiful day, evening, morning, wherever it is that you are, and blessings to you from across the skies, the oceans, and of course the forests. So if you have any questions about Sandara Online,